Alright, Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings to you, Akim, that's pushing out this word in sincerity and in truth. Lord willing, this just be a quick hit, something that was just resonating on my spirit, and just practicing discipline, on a day-to-day basis, and using everything that you endure in life, to practice that, man, to exhibit that, and to be balanced while we're striving for the mastery, man, striving in this faith, to fight the good fight and everything that we endure. We know that the Lord has allowed it to happen. Nothing happens on earth unless the Lord has sanctioned it. He allows it to happen. It tells you that in the scriptures that not even a fowl falls from the sky unless the Lord sanctions it. That's the same with us in our day-to-day lives, man. Whatever goes on, man, the Lord allows it to happen. But what? It's not for our destruction. It's for us to be built up, man. It's for us to learn patience, or whatever you're lacking in, for the Lord to wake you up into doing some more things. You might not be reading enough. That might be an area where you need to increase in, and the Lord might put something in your way that might force you to read more. Or an obstacle, man. Like, for example, just me and my experience, I had last week, I had some things going on with my phone. I had to send my phone back, to my mom. She was bugging out, man. It's some bull, but I had to send my phone back. And then usually I get on my phone, I watch videos and everything, and that's how I do a lot of my studying through my phone. So I didn't have that, so I was forced to use that as as fire, pretty much, to continue to use that as for me to read more, just to put it plain and simple, man. So it helped me to read more, and then I got a lot out of my reading, man. The Lord was revealing some things to me in the scriptures, but that's just an example, of where you can practice that, and practice and use whatever the Lord puts in your way, whatever He allows to happen, to just use that to strengthen, man. None of it's for the destruction. So I'm gonna go straight to the scriptures, and this is 1 Corinthians 9. I'll start at verse 24. It says, "Know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize? So run that ye may obtain." Because what we're doing here is a race, man. You have to fight. You gotta strain your muscles, to get to the end, and to excel, man. That takes stress on your body. It's not just no float, no walk in the park, man, where you just walk into the end of a race. Nah, you gotta run this thing, man. That it takes putting your body under subjection, which the scripture is going to go into. But you got to fight, man. You got to push yourself, is ultimately what I'm just getting to. And it says in the next verse, "And every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things." Right? And I want to go to this word temperate. It says, let me see. Yeah, so the word temperate here, I'll just play it for you all.
Strong's G 1467. Ekratuamai.
Right. So what he said, and it means to be self-controlled and continent, But anyways, to exhibit self-government, conduct oneself temperately. So that's, you got to be self-controlled, man. You can't be moved by every wayward doctrine. You can't be moved by everything that happens in this world, man. You got to be controlled. You got to be focused on the prize, man. If you're running a race, you're not looking up into the stands and looking at the fans and trying to be flashy or nothing like that. You're not trying to wave at your mom while you're running the race or whatnot, and you still got a finish line ahead of you, man. That's the same way we got to be in this truth, man. We got our eyes on the prize, man. We got our eyes to try and obtain that incorruptible crown, And just like these boxers and everything like that, man, they to excel in their craft, they have to be focused on their goal and be self-controlled, man. If you want to excel in something, you can't let's say you're a boxer or whatnot, you can't just focus on how strong and powerful your punches are. Hey, you got to be able to train and also focus on your endurance, and that's a balance that you have to have. That's the same in this truth, man. But that's how it is. Like in any craft, man, you got to be self-controlled, man. You got to know when it's time to train, it's time to train. You know, you can't sit there and train 10 minutes and then get distracted and then go off and do something else and then try and train a little bit 5 minutes later, you know, and then not get nothing out of it. Nah, when it's time to get down, it's time to get down. And that's the same in this truth, man. When it's time for that work, man, it's time for that work. You know, everything else is to the side, man. But let's see, I'm gonna go back to it. So yeah, it says, and every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible. And that's like these boxers, you know, and these athletes, man. They strain, hey, they train hard, man. They train their flesh hard, but it's to obtain a corruptible crown, man. Attain things that is not things that aren't gonna matter in eternity, man. You know, but us, hey, how much more us, man? These athletes go all out, man. They go all in for their craft, man. How much more for the work of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai? How much more for something that's incorruptible, man? That incorruptible crown, man. That's what we're chasing, man. We want the Lord to crown us and look at us as and call us acceptable servants, man. You know, that's what we're looking for, man. All these other things, they don't matter, man. At the end of the day. And it says, I therefore, Salaki, I therefore so run, not as uncertainly, because we know that we're going to obtain great things in the kingdom if we endure to the end, you know. So we know what we're searching for, you know. And it says, so fight I, not as one that beateth the air. And that's what you have, man. We aren't out here just swinging at the air, you know, not knowing what we're doing for, man. We're focused on the goal, man, you know. And I used to always like to think of this example. You know, if it's two people walking down the straight path, right, or down the straight line, right, you have one person, they're just walking straight, you know, by their own mind, just thinking they're going straight forward. But you have one person, he decided to look at a tree or something, a landmarker, you know, and saw that landmarker and decided to keep his eyes on it to walk towards it. So, hey, let's say those people are walking for a mile. That person that had the landmarker in his mind, he's going to stay straight. But that person that didn't have anything on his mind set forth, you know, to already be looking at, he might veer off to the right, thinking he's still going straight. But that's not us, man. We're going to be on the straight and narrow path, man. Our eyes are on the prize, man. We know what we're searching for, you know. So we won't be that person that's just out walking, thinking they're walking straight and going off, man. Going off to the right or to the left, man, you know. Hey, and these scriptures are our standard, man. Hey, these scriptures are that landmarker, man, to know what we're going for, man. Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, man, is who we're keeping our eyes on to stay straight. And it says, but I keep under my body, and this is really what I wanted to get to. One brother brought this out in a video, man, and it was real edifying to me. And it linked up with another scripture that I was reading also. So, but yeah, where it says to keep under my body, I'll go ahead and play it.
Strong's G 5299. Hupo piazzo.
Right, and it says to be black and blue, to smite so as to cause bruises and livid spots. Hey, and that's what we have to do to this flesh, man. No, we aren't finna sit here and hit ourselves in the head and bang your head on the table like you see these so-called white people do. You know what I'm saying? Get upset in the locker room and start banging their head against a locker, you know. But no, but hey, but that's the kind of mindset that we have. We're putting our body under subjection. Like, no, I'm gonna stay focused on spiritual things, man. And we got to practice that discipline. You can practice that discipline on a day-to-day basis, man. That's where you get your growth from, is practicing discipline, you know. So for example, like I was talking about before, hey, you know, let's say you got a lesson you want to put down, you know, you need to put a video up, and this time you're trying to gather up your precepts and things like that, you know, whatever you have in store to do for that time period. You like, yeah, I'm gonna just focus on doing this lesson. I'm not finna, you might say like, you know what, I'm not even finna look at my phone this whole time period, you know. I'm gonna just sit here on the computer and put my precepts together and be in my scriptures and be in the precepts, you know. That's practicing discipline, because your flesh might want you to just check it, you know, consistently, or see some folly, you know what I'm saying, social media, whatever the case is, man. That's practicing discipline. Another example, man, is your diet, you know. You know, you might have it to where it's like, you know, I'm just gonna focus on eating greens and fruits and vegetables, you know, for this whole week. I'm gonna try and focus on that. That's practicing discipline, you know. And then when your flesh riles up, because you know it will, because we're in this flesh, it's gonna rouse up to do whatever it wants, man, just to fulfill the lust of the flesh. But whenever those things come up, hey, you gotta fight it, man. You gotta beat your flesh into subjection, man. You know, you gotta say, man, nah, I'm not even thinking about that. You know, I forget that I ain't finna eat this chicken right now. You know, because I already set a standard for myself for this whole week to only eat these things, man. And that's what we have to do in this truth, man. We have to set standards for ourselves, you know, according to the scriptures, to abide by it, and that's where we get our growth from, man. When you practice that discipline, because then when the next week, you know, you're stronger, man. You've already beat that. So then when, you know, it rouses up where you might want to look at your phone when you studying or whatever the case is, you know, where you already set that standard where you aren't gonna, you know, eat any meat or whatever the case is, you know, whatever it is, brothers, that you might, you know, want to focus on, just look at it in that aspect. But hey, then you've already defeated it, so you know already, that gives you confidence, like, I already beat this, you know, this ain't nothing, man. And that's the same thing in this truth, man. You have to use everything that you can to practice to be better, man, in this truth, you know. But I'm going to go back and finish this off and just grab one more precept, Lord willing. So it says, but I keep under my body, so we already know what that means, you know, and bring it into subjection, right? Because our flesh has to be under subjection to our spirit, man, you know, because the spirit is willing, but the flesh is what? It's weak. So yeah, you're going to want to do all these things in your flesh, but your spirit is going to want to do what? It's going to want to do this truth. It's going to want to put out these videos, man. It's going to want to do everything that it needs to do necessary to get up out this flesh. That's what it is, man. It's trying to get up out of here, you know. Hey, we want to get those incorruptible bodies, man, and have that fleshly heart, man. You know, the law, statutes, and commandments in our minds. So what? And we know that as soon as the elect is sealed, you know, the Lord is going to bring the destruction. And our spirit wants that. So it wants to do this work, man. It wants to do all these things to strive for the kingdom. But this flesh is the only thing that's holding us down, man. And that's why it says that this flesh is the chains of darkness, man. You know, because it presses down the spirit, you know. And it says, lest that by any means when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway. And that's another thing, man. We got to always be examining ourselves daily, man. You know, so that, yeah, we go out on the highways and byways, but we have to check ourselves also, man, because we aren't hypocrites, man. Even though we're in this flesh, you know, hey, things are going to happen. But, hey, man, it says that a just man may fall, roughly paraphrasing, but a just man falls 7 times, but he's going to get back up, you know. And, hey, that's just a complete number of times. So, yeah, you might fall, but we're going to get up every single time, man. Lord willing, we those men of the Lord. Right? So, hey, you just got to practice that discipline. And I'm going to get... Slovakia. It's Proverbs 20 and what am I doing? Here we go. Proverbs 20 verse 30. Yeah. I'll start at verse 29. It says, the glory of young men is their strength, and the beauty of old men is the gray head. The blueness of a wound cleanseth away evil. Hey, and what did it say in the blue letter, man? It says that you gotta beat your flesh like black and blue, you know. Pretty much just putting it under subjection, man. You gotta really afflict this flesh, man. That's what it is. It's afflicting this flesh. That's how you get long suffering and patience, man. You know, deciding I'm going to put everything, all these carnal things off to the side, man. Hey, that's what you do in a fast, man. That's exactly what you're doing, is afflicting the flesh. You know, when you're fasting, you might say, like, you know what, I'm not going to eat for 24 hours, you know what I'm saying? And that's afflicting your flesh the whole time. And what? All you can do is be spiritual, you know? You may feel weary and everything like that, but, hey, you're going to get a gain from that, you know? It might not be right after the fast, you know. It might be a week from later, because the Lord, hey, it tells you that every good gift comes from the heavens, man. Hey, and you showing the Lord that you're willing to afflict your flesh, you know, He'll give you that spiritual gain that you're looking for, man. You know, He'll give you what you've been praying for, man. Might have demons on you, man, that you're trying to get off of you, and you can't get them off, man. You reading in the scriptures and just things aren't working. You getting that fast, man. The Lord may just get that right off of you, man, because He sees that you're working, man. You're pushing forth trying to put your body under subjection, man. That's the will of the Lord, man. You know, hey, and if you ask anything in His will, it shall be given unto you. So if you're asking things according to these scriptures, man, according to what He wants, you know, it's gonna happen, man. And you gotta have faith in that. So it says the blueness of a wound cleanseth away evil. So that affliction that you put your body in, man, and disciplining yourself, you know, on a day-to-day basis to what you can do, hey, man, that cleanses away evil, man. You know, that's gonna keep you walking in the spirit, man. Walking down that straight and narrow path, man. Not worried about not being entangled by the affairs of this world, you know. And it says, so do stripes the inward parts of the belly. And that's talking about your spirit, man. So the affliction that we catch in this flesh, man, it's all for the benefit of the growth of the spirit, man. That's all that it's about, man. The Lord He's not trying to destroy us, man. It tells you that all these things are for our destruction, man. But what, man? We gotta endure. You know, you gotta have that mindset, man. That's another asset to wisdom and knowledge, being the stability of thy times, man. If you know that you catching a little hell, man, but you got the wisdom and knowledge that the Lord has told you already through the scriptures that it's not for your destruction, but you know it's to strengthen your spirit, you know, to bring forth fruit of the spirit, you know, bring forth long suffering and patience, you know, then you're not gonna worry about those things, man. Then you're gonna already know. If you already know that the Lord already said that nothing can happen to you unless He sanctions it, unless He allows it. Hey, then you're not gonna be tripping too hard about everything, man. Yeah, it seems like it's some hell at the time, but you're not gonna be too worried about it, because what, you already know the Lord said that He's allowing it. You know, He's already sanctioned it to happen, to uplift you. Hey, so Lord willing, I just hope that was edifying, man. And hey, brothers, man, stay disciplined, man, and practice discipline in any aspect you can, whether it's through your diet, you know, whether it's saying, you know, I ain't even gonna deal, you know, with my woman for 2 weeks or something like that, man. Whatever it is, man, whatever it is that can help you in this truth, man, help bring forth that spirit out, you know, more than the carnal flesh, man. Hey, do it, man. Practice it, man. You can always do that. You know what I'm saying? You can always set standards for yourself and say that, you know what, nah, I'm gonna do this and whatever I can to meet this standard that I set for myself, you know. Hey, I'm gonna make sure that I read at least an hour, you know, on this day and that day and another day, man. That's practicing discipline, man. And those are things that we need to set our standards to, that we can grow, you know. And the Lord will add the increase, man. Once He sees you trying to do these things, man, He'll put it in your spirit to where you have those fruit, man. Where you have that fruit that you're looking for. Hey, so like I said, hey, keep pushing, you know, Akim. And I'm going to just say shalom.